I never thought it was going to be this easy to be in a relationship. There'll always be tough times, always be things you don't agree on, but it's like, man, you really want to work through with the person that you're with if you really are in love with them. It's just such a different feeling. It's such a different mindset.
Welcome to the EMPWR podcast, where wellness meets real life and empowerment becomes your way of being. I'm your host, Sam. Welcome back to the EMPWR podcast. All right, today's episode is a special one. I am joined by my boyfriend, Ian, and we dive deep into all things relationship, from building healthy communication and navigating our blended family to learning from past marriages and knowing when you found the right person. We are getting real about what it takes to create and maintain a strong, connected partnership. We're also opening up about intimacy, why it matters, and how it changes everything. So let's get into it. Today, we are getting very intimate.
Very.
And we are talking all things relationships, not just ours, but what we truly think is helpful for any relationship. So hopefully this episode can resonate with anyone, whether they're going through a hard time in a relationship, not in a relationship, but looking for the right person, questioning on if they're in the right relationship, or just like learning tips, tricks, things to apply in their own life to better their relationship.
I feel like I'm going to learn something in this.
Hope so.
Okay.
So on my Instagram, I did a little question, like Q&A story, and there were so many good questions that you guys sent in for this podcast episode. I mean, we were looking at them this weekend, and I mean, there were so many good ones, don't you think?
If you asked a question that requires a yes or no, the answer is yes. So, because you all know the question.
And there were a lot of the same questions.
A lot
that were
of the same question.
Mainly around like our exes, which we will talk about. I think just like our blended family, how we get through arguments, all the things. So shall we get into it?
Let's go.
We're just going to start from the top. We're just going to go top to bottom of these questions that we pulled, try to answer as many as we can within this hour. All right, first one. Advice on blending a family. How have you made this work?
For us, what was good is honestly the kids that we had. I think it made it super easy. And what I mean by that is that me having a daughter and you having boys, I always wanted a boy. I definitely needed a girl for my own well-being. Calm me down. Made me a lot more patient because I wasn't at all. And so, but you needed some girl energy.
Yeah, I did.
You can kind of get a little more chaotic and hectic with boys, but it's like a different energy. It's fun. It's like I wanted a boy. You have boys. You need some girl energy. I have a girl. So it just made it super easy.
Yeah, I did.
I think right off the bat, and they all just clicked really well and just kind of played like, not that they have any real idea of what's going on, but they just know like, oh, I see that person.
I also think that the way we quote unquote re-met, which if you are new to this podcast, go back and listen to our, I think it's like one of the first few we had of us together. Yeah. We talk about how we met, but I think the way we met was very organic with our kids being at gymnastics. So they just naturally and organically met each other. It wasn't like, oh, this is my boyfriend. These are my kids.
Yeah.
When do we need the right time for everyone to meet? It just kind of happened before we even were in a relationship. Like if I had to give advice on a blended family, how to make it work, take your time. There is no rush. And I think that is what really helped us. I think us both being in prior relationships, marriages, one thing I can look back on is that I probably wish I would have changed if I had to go back. Not that I regret anything, but I think I rushed a lot of things in prior relationships. Whether that was the relationship itself and just not taking enough time to date or moving in together or engagement, whatever that may be. And I think for us, we have kids now, right? I think we really just like took our time with the steps of getting to where we're at now.
We just hung out. Meet up, like never in anybody's home turf. It was kind of like, let's just meet in this place. The kids can play. We can kind of talk and hang out, and that's about it. Whether it's pool or out in restaurants, whatever it might be, but just made it a lot easier. There was never any kind of visual romantic involvement. It was just kids playing, us two parents just talking.
Well, I think for 6 months when we did not have the kids, like when our exes did, that's when we were like hanging out, like having our adult sleepovers, like you coming over to the house,
Just
whatever.
call it adult sleepover?
I don't know. Adult sleepovers. But we didn't let the kids kind of see that intimate side. And then I don't think that you guys even came over until we were like official 6 months later, like boyfriend, girlfriend.
Yeah.
So we just really took our time. So that would be my advice is take your time and communicate and then like check in with the kids, you know?
We went on a trip.
Yeah, we did.
Which helped.
I think so.
It was away from the kids. Without them knowing. So it was like, okay, super into this person.
Yeah.
And then we kind of figured out, okay, well, we can bring the kids around more often and see what happens and let them, I think they slowly figured it out. Even with just hanging out at the house or it might be, I think they figured it out. It was like, they seem happy. Now they always say it, but.
Yeah. But I think also too, like it's important to have that family, like blended family time together, which we do so good at. But I think we also make time with our own kids. Like you and Reagan go on walks.
Reagan and I have our morning walks that we do, especially when she wakes up. She sleeps longer, is a little sleepy in the morning. Girl, you know? So she likes to have daddy-daughter time. We do a couple of walk or just a little quick walk in the morning before school, before, you know, all the chaos of the day happens. And it gives her kind of that alone time and also gives Sam alone time with the boys so they can cuddle up with her. And then, you know, 15 minutes later, we're back into the family dynamic. So it works out really well.
And that's what I like too. Like the other day, it was just like me and the boys at home and spending that one-on-one time together. Because I think it can be, depending on the age of your kids, a challenge. I think the younger, the easier. Like if you have kids in middle school or high school, like that can be challenging. And I wish I had advice for that stage. I don't, but I would just say take baby steps. And I think check in with your kids. Like make sure to have that intentional time with them too, as much as you have with the entire blended family. But I think we've made it work pretty well.
We also get our intentional time, like them going to school.
Yes.
But if I take all of them or you take all of them, it's different. But if I take regular school, you take the boys to school, it's like, okay, we can talk to them, ask them questions and get that alone time with each other.
How did you know you were ready to commit after your divorce? I'll go first on this one.
Yeah, you go first. Okay.
I think for me, and I'm sure there's many women and men maybe listening to this podcast that can resonate, but for me in my divorce, which I want to do like a full episode on that because I think it deserves some attention and hopefully can help some people who are going through the same situation. I think for me, I did a lot of grieving within my own marriage before we were actually divorced. You know, it was like a year prior, I went through the grieving process of my marriage. I knew like years leading up that it probably wasn't going to work out long term. Again, I'll talk about this more in depth, but by the time we actually filed, I was completely emotionally done with the marriage and the relationship and had grieved that. What I had not grieved was my kids, unfortunately, having, you know, a family become broken in a sense. That was really hard because I've said this before, nobody gets married with the intent to divorce, especially with kids. Nobody gets married, has kids and thinks, okay, it's time to break up the family. Yeah. It's heartbreaking. So for me, that was the hard part. And that was what I was grieving after. So I needed some time for that. And I think that when I just spent a lot of like one-on-one time with the kids and nurtured that relationship in our new home, I checked in with myself every single day too, and just kind of got to a place where I was like, you know what? I'm good. But my main priority was to make sure that they were good too. And that's why I think that when we met, which full transparency was very soon after my divorce, I think that is another reason why we took it so slow. But like, we told each other, we are not dating. We are not going to be in a relationship. Like we never want to get married again. We never want to have kids again. Like This is just, I mean, I hate to say it, but guys, we started out just kind of like friends with benefits, which is kind of wild to say. And here we are.
Here we are.
But I think we both knew there was like a deeper connection, and that was just kind of like a front we were putting up.
Protecting ourselves.
I think honestly, when we met too, we still were going through our healing journey. I really do. I think we helped each other with that.
We had both been through different situations, but a lot. So it's kind of like, okay, I'm not going to deal with this, but I know this person probably doesn't like this, been through this. And it's kind of like, okay, you can navigate a little bit better, know what you really want, what you need, what you don't want, what you don't need. Helped a lot.
What about you? Like, you obviously, when we first started hanging out, were on the same page of like not ready to commit. So like what changed?
Literally never again. Ever. Was very...
You have to tell them about the bet you have with your friends.
Stubborn. I hope they don't listen to this podcast. Well, maybe I guess I hope they do. But I had a bet with my friends that I wouldn't get married before the age of 55. It's for a lot of money, so probably to pay them. Here I am, but I was very committed to this. It's just been through a lot.
Was there something that changed for you to get to that point?
I think, I mean, obviously spending time with you and a few, I think trips we'd spent together, just like quality time together. I was like, man, this is not anything I'd experienced before. So it's just a lot different. Like, I was legitimately happy to be around you all the time, which just made a huge difference. I was like, I dreaded other times. So with you, I was kind of like, man, it's just fun all the time.
Yeah. I just remember it being easy.
Very.
And it was one of those situations, like I knew I was ready to commit when life was easier with you in the picture and consistently. And like, you truly do bring like the best side of me out. And same with the kids. And when we were all together, it just felt right. Like on a spiritual level, it really did. And so for me, that's when I knew, okay, I had my mind set on a different path of no relationship, no marriage again, no kids, whatever that may look like in the future. Like obviously like God has different plans, and I just kind of leaned into that and trusted that. And then I feel like once we both committed, it was like the entire relationship just blossomed.
It's also like a weight was lifted. It's like, man, I can kind of give it, I can give into this and feel really good about it.
I completely agree. This episode of the EMPWR podcast is brought to you by Blokes Joi Wellness, my go-to for all things health, blood work, and hormone support. Okay, let's talk hormones, because if you're constantly feeling off, there's a good chance they're playing a very overlooked role. And trust me, I've been there, just feeling exhausted no matter how much sleep I got, dealing with bloating that made no sense, and honestly just feeling like my body wasn't working with me. And that's why I love Blokes Joi Wellness. And one of my favorite phrases is test, don't guess. And they make it so simple to get real answers. Their hormone panel helps you understand what's going on beneath the surface. Whether it's high cortisol, estrogen dominance, or just sluggish thyroid function, you're testing and you're not guessing. Plus, their science-backed supplements are formulated to actually make a difference, with targeted support for PMS, stress, metabolism, and overall hormonal balance. And we put so much effort into our workouts and nutrition, but if your hormones are out of whack, it can feel like you're spinning your wheels. Blokes Joi gives you the tools to work with your body, not against it. So if you're tired of feeling off and want to start truly feeling your best, Blokes Joi Wellness makes it easy. Head to choosejoy.co and use code SAMCFITPOD for 50% off your first order. Feel better, live longer. It all starts here.
Do y'all both have help with the kids? Or do you guys both help with the kids, housework, etc.? How do we split that up?
Every day looks different, and checking in with each other and seeing what the other person needs is kind of how we navigate that.
We do that a lot.
We do. And that's my advice.
Hey, what do you need?
Yes, that is my advice for anybody that feels like they're overwhelmed when it comes to all the tasks within the house, family, relationship, is to check in with that other person that is helping you out in a sense. Your teammate, whatever that is, your partner, husband, spouse. Check in and ask them what they need, vice versa.
But then ask them again, hey, what do you need? You're like, nothing. Like, no, what do you actually need? You're like, well.
I have a hard time because I'm such a like, I'm going to do this myself mentality, and like, I can do it myself. And I mean, at the end of the day, we're human. We can't handle all the things that are thrown at us at all times. So I think having your help is nice.
Especially when it's tasks that really don't require a whole lot of effort. It's like, just tell me what it is so I can get it done. And that way it's off somebody's list.
Right.
Whether it's you helping me or me helping you.
So
it just makes it a lot better.
Something that we do that I think is really helpful is we have a whiteboard in our kitchen that's like a notes page, and anything
like right outside the bedroom.
right outside the bedroom. So it was like first thing, hello, this is what we need done. No, but we just throughout the day or throughout the week, anything that is like house related or chores or things that need to be done outside of like work, quote unquote, we write it down. Yeah. Not like for the other person to do, but a general notes section so we don't forget. But what I find is that like I'll look at that and be like, what does he need done that he's probably planning to do himself that I can help out with? And I think we both kind of do that and just kind of cross off the list together. But some days it's you doing the laundry and you doing the housework.
I'm real good at folding.
He's really good at folding.
Military.
The military is definitely helps him out. And then some days it's me. So I just feel like the way I look at it is a partnership.
Yeah.
We do not have like a maid or a nanny. So outside of the kids being at school, it's us and we do it together. But we look at this relationship as a team effort. And there are going to be some days that he's going to have to give 80% because I can only give 20%, vice versa. And you know what? I want to read a text.
Oh boy.
I just thought of this, but you sent me the sweetest text.
Oh boy.
Last week. And I was like, you know what?
I'm exposed.
This is honestly what I prayed for years. Was obviously you, but just acts of kindness like this. He sent me a text and this is what it says. Let me preface this by saying I had a bad day last week. It was a really hard day. We have been traveling for a month straight and there are just so many tasks that I've had a hard time keeping up with. So it was just a rough day. And I get this text at 8 a.m. He had left the house and he said, I love you, Sam. I know you aren't in a great spot, but I'm going to be there with you no matter what. We'll always be able to work through anything in life. We lean on each other more than when the other person needs it. Anything you need today, I'll take care of.
I said that? I'm just kidding.
But that just shows that you were so in tune with me that day and you knew that I couldn't give
I know.
full percent there. And so you picked up where I could not. And that meant the world to me. And I think that that's what a true relationship is giving more when the other person can't. And I feel like there's days like the same with you. I can tell that you're having a hard day and
Ian goes mute.
He goes mute. He just doesn't talk. I'm like, okay, we got this. But I think it's
usually just me thinking through stuff. It's just like, I don't have to talk. And that's, you help me out with that.
So I would say, I think that when it comes to the chores and all of that, it's an equal partnership. But some days you're just going to have to pick up when the other person can't. How to prevent feeling like roommates.
Sex. I mean.
Okay, elaborate.
Intimacy.
Okay.
I mean, I don't care who says it's not a cornerstone of a relationship, but it is. It's like, I want to feel intimate with you as much as possible all the time. But like the roommate thing, it's like, okay, you walk in, say hi, eat your food, go to bed. Like there's no communication, you're not doing things together, like even for a family walk and throwing the ball, the dog and the kids, like all that kind of stuff. It's like, that's quality time with all of us. But then you got to be intimate, period. I mean, otherwise you're just kind of doing robotic tasks all the time and walk around the house and trying to, avoid each other or whatever it might be. And we don't do that.
I completely agree. And honestly, what you said about the intimacy, I think that we do a really good job at showing non-sexual intimacy, which I think is a big part that people overlook. It doesn't have to be, oh, let's go have sex or let's go make out. Like sometimes it's just touching you as I walk by or giving you a hug or grabbing your hand, while you're working or coming up from behind you and giving you a hug while you're cooking.
She tries to tickle me.
He doesn't like the tickling, so that's not a good touch. But just those non-sexual acts of intimacy, I think, are really big because it's basically like saying, "Hey, I'm here. I feel you."
So you can kind of get into your lane for the day for what I'm doing or what you're doing, and all of a sudden you kind of forget about that stuff, and it's like just one of us doing it brings us back into it real quick.
It really does. It really does
all the time.
But I agree with you with the sexual intimacy. I think I can say, like, looking back on past relationships, the moments when I felt like, or periods, I guess you could say, where I felt like roommates, there was no sex. And like, that is a huge part of a relationship. And I've seen this like on random reels and podcasts that like the key to long-term and long-standing relationships is the sexual side of things. So making sure that you're prioritizing that truly.
Works well for us. I will say that.
It does. Now, I think on the non-sexual side of things, having check-ins.
Yeah, we check in, whether it's in text, especially at night when the kids go down. I mean, it's not always the best quality time, to be quite honest, but it's one of those, like, especially if there's stuff to get done, it's like, okay, we got to jump into it real quick. But that's also our time to not be around the kids. So it's kind of like, okay, this is our time now, and what can we do to make the most of it and check in with each other?
And I think we also have to say that we go through periods where it's not perfect. And a lot of the times it's when there are deadlines or when there's a lot of travel. And I mean, the communication's not always up to par. The opportunities of sex is not always there. You know, it's just chaos. So just know that it's not always going to be perfect, but
it's kind of like fitness. Just get back on track.
Consistency is key.
Consistency is key. So as much as possible, as often as possible, it makes everything better.
Agreed.
What's your love language, both giving and receiving love?
Ooh, I took this test. Like I read the book years ago.
Acts of love. I know what yours is.
Okay, what are mine? Oh, wait, of receiving?
Or even giving. Like giving. Gift giving is one of yours.
Oh, like to others?
Yeah.
Yes.
1,000%.
I love giving gifts. Yeah, I love giving gifts and like acts of kindness, like little things, like notes and whatever else. Is that acts of kindness or acts of service? I don't know.
Acts of service would be like
folding the
doing
laundry,
the laundry, cleaning the kitchen, all that kind of stuff.
Which I feel like you're good at that.
Cleaning your car.
So I think for me, gift giving.
Because there's wrappers.
No, there's always wrappers. So I think for me, I like mine to give is the gift giving. And then receiving, I think, is quality time and communication. What's the communication?
I'd say
words of affirmation.
Words of affirmation, yeah. I give you a lot of those. I think you're kind of like a blend. Acts of service as well. All of them, yeah.
What about you? What would you say yours is?
I don't know what they all are, honestly.
Okay, so the 5 love languages are quality time, physical touch, acts of service, and receiving gifts. So I think we just said that mine is to give. I like acts of service and receiving gifts. And then to receive, probably quality time. Oh, and words of affirmation. That's another one.
I'd say acts of service would be my giving one. Like helping what?
I'm waiting to see what your receiving one is.
Sex.
Well, that's not one. Physical touch. That is so funny.
I mean, look at her.
So what would you say for somebody that, I think we're kind of a case of that, where you have different love languages? Sometimes I think we battle that. Like there'll be times where I'm like so inundated with work and focus that I'm like, it's hard for me to allocate the time to like go to the bedroom or do whatever physical touch. Like,
I just pick her up and take her.
Oh gosh. You're not lying. So what would you say for somebody that has different love languages or maybe doesn't feel seen or heard because, you know, they need that words of affirmation?
Speak up. Just say it and reiterate it and don't do it from a place of like hostility or anything.
Yes, that's a big one.
Any kind of anger. Yes, there's frustration, but don't portray that.
Yeah.
It's kind of like just, I don't know, hint at it or even just have a conversation around it, or even ask the other person, what do you need? So that they kind of let their guard down, which I don't think we have a problem. We do obviously have almost every love language between the two of us for the most part, but I understand what you need and want. And so it's okay, just realizing that. I mean, the big thing, actually, you know what it is? You like receiving gifts too, because anytime I bring home flowers, done deal.
I mean, I could like see you in the car driving up with flowers and I'm like, what do you want?
Anything you want.
Anything you want. I am a sucker for a good bouquet of flowers.
Which is why we have constant flowers coming into the house. I just think telling the other person what you need and what you want and just doing it from a place of love for the most part, I think. Just let them know, like, hey, what do you need?
Yeah.
What is it that's going to make you happy? And how can I help that? And then once they've kind of shared their, 2 cents on the whole situation, then you kind of, hopefully they ask.
Yeah.
But you can also kind of get into it and let them know, like, hey, I would love for us to go do this or to do this, or this makes me happy if I get this kind of thing.
I also think that if you are dating somebody and then you're in this position, like these are factors to consider when looking for the right person, because yes, you can have different love languages, but if they, go across your values or things that are important to you, like it might not be the right person. So I think being able to communicate and figure that out before it gets to a place of resentment or anything bigger is probably very important. Are you guys Christian? What does that relationship look like? So yes, we are Christian.
What does it look like?
Yeah.
I'm not sure what that...
Probably like our relationship in day-to-day life with God. So I will say, we are Christian. We're non-denominational. We go to a non-denominational church here in Nashville called Crosspoint, which we have been going to for years. We're going separately. And then when we started dating, we just went together. But our kids have been brought up in that church. And I think for me, like growing up, it was very just like traditional church, scripture, Bible. I think my relationship with God and my own spiritual journey has changed over the years, especially the more I have learned about myself and because I went through periods where I really had to lean on God, especially like the past few years, like going through that divorce. So for me, I think it's a lot more spiritual based, and obviously still read the Bible and go to church and learn about scripture. But for me, it's built on a place of values, I think. And I think that's something that we translate over to our kids as well and do a good job on. But we pray with the kids. We pray together, I think, in times where, our family might need it, whether we're going on a trip or going on a flight or, every night with the kids we pray. So, yeah, I think they
love it. It's a good foundation for them to have growing up and instills good values, like you said. So it's something that is important to us just to make sure they have a foundation. And I think all the kids, they really do enjoy, especially going to that particular place, to Cross Point, which is good. So yeah, it's been really good for us.
I completely agree. And I think for us too, like we have check-ins obviously about our relationship, and we were on a flight last week and kind of just we had no Wi-Fi on the flight.
Oh man.
This is a whole nother conversation.
Sorry about that. Yeah.
We kind of had like a disagreement on something, and we both have a tendency sometimes to shut down for a second before we communicate, which I don't think is a bad thing to like take time for yourself, but sometimes we can both be stubborn and kind of like shut down and in any kind of disagreement. And so it was right before a flight, and I was like, I'm just going to go and work on this flight. And then there was no Wi-Fi. So we were just sitting there. I was like, well, I guess we should talk things out. And so that was probably the best.
2 hours straight.
It was a 2-hour conversation, and we just talked about everything, and it was like the best thing ever. But one of those things was like ways that we can strengthen our relationship. And I think we talked about like our own spiritual relationship, because I think we both have a very strong spiritual relationship with ourselves, with God, and the kids. But I think that there's an area of opportunity like for God in our own relationship and like praying together and things like that. So that's something that
that's why he cut out the Wi-Fi. We figured it out.
Yeah. We were like, this is a God thing.
Like, man, he's pretty good. He's pretty smart.
Cut it out. Okay, we're going there because wellness isn't just about what we put in our bodies. The products we use on our bodies matter too. Dry toilet paper just isn't cutting it anymore. I recently went down a rabbit hole looking into all the chemicals used in many of the leading toilet paper brands, and that's when I found Good Wipes. A total game changer for your bathroom routine. These are flushable wipes for the restroom. And yes, they're actually flushable. Made with plant-based fibers, they break down easily and don't mess with your plumbing. They're super soft, smell amazing, and are infused with skin-loving ingredients like aloe, vitamin E, and chamomile. I keep mine stocked at home, in my gym bag, honestly everywhere. Even my boys are obsessed. They ask for the special wipes now, so they're officially a family staple. They actually smell so good. They're clean, refreshing, and never overpowering. Think rose water, shea, cocoa, lavender, cedar, and their newest addition, botanical bliss. It's a lineup that makes your bathroom feel like a spa. So if you're ready to upgrade your bathroom game, head to the toilet paper aisle at Target, Walmart, Kroger, or most local grocery stores and grab the bright aqua, rose, or emerald packages. Or if you're like me and love a good Amazon order, they're there too. Trust me, your booty will thank you.
What was an example of a big argument we worked through and how did we handle it?
Well, I think what's crazy is that, I mean, we've never had like a full blown like argument fight.
Correct.
We've had disagreements.
Which is also new. We've been hanging out for like 2 years almost, and we've never had a full blown fight, which is crazy. Now, we've had disagreements. I think that's healthy. I think that if you're in a relationship where you're not having disagreements, like there's something wrong there. Truly. This isn't Pleasantville.
This is not Pleasantville. I think disagreements is common. Now, I think when you let it get to a full-blown argument or fight where there's yelling and toxic behaviors, like that's not the most ideal.
There's an issue there, yeah.
Luckily, we have never been in that situation, but with the disagreements, I'm trying to think of like the biggest disagreement we've had.
Oh, I genuinely don't know.
I don't think that we've ever had like a crazy big
kind of like
disagreement.
if it doesn't matter in 5 hours, is it really going to matter for the rest of my life? Like, why are we arguing? Or why are we even disagreeing? Like,
and that is something that I think is so important. I had somebody tell me one time, they said, one of the biggest things I've learned from being in a marriage for 30 plus years is you have to pick your battles. So that is something that I have done with you, especially is looking at the situation. I'm like, okay, I have feelings. My feelings are valid. I feel this way for a certain reason, and that's okay. Is it worth creating a bigger issue over, or is this something that I can work with on myself? Like, is this going to matter in 2 days?
This is my question for you. If you do that too many times, will that create resentment?
I think if it's an ongoing theme in the relationship, yes.
Okay. I'm just curious.
So for instance, what's for dinner? And I want a cheeseburger, but you want pizza. But I'm like in a mood, about to start my period. I could create a disagreement over that, right? But like, I'm like, whatever. If I think that's going to cause an issue. I mean, that's a horrible example, but you understand what I'm saying. Like, that's not a life-threatening situation where it's going to cause resentment. Now, if it's a situation where it's like, we have an account together of money and you're spending a ton of money and I'm like, oh, it's fine. I'm just disregarding it, like not letting it bother. Like, that's a bigger issue. That's going to create some issues long-term, right? Finances are one of the biggest reasons people get divorced, right? So I think it depends on the situation. But I think for us, we've never let it get to a point of like a full-blown argument because I think we both just appreciate the relationship so much and respect the other person so much that we won't let it get there.
1000% agree with that.
And I have not always been that way in relationships.
I've never been that way. Period.
I still get the chills and like, how am I in this relationship that's so healthy? Because I used to think for years I was the problem. And I was just in these relationships that were not the best. And I just truly think I had not done enough growth within myself and found the right person to appreciate what I have. So.
Same. I mean, completely agree. So it's just very easy. And I think if you're not in that situation, it's like you need to find ways to make it that situation or kind of reassess where you're at, because I never thought it was going to be this easy to be in a relationship. There'll always be tough times, always be things you don't agree on, but it's like, man, you really want to work through with the person that you're with if you really are in love with them. It's just such a different feeling. It's such a different mindset.
Yeah.
But never expected to be here.
I completely agree. And I think for somebody that finds themselves in arguments and fights with their significant other, having looked back on past relationships where this was the case, things that I wish I could go back and do that would have helped, I think, is not reacting in the moment and just like taking time and then coming back to the situation. Kind of like when you are disciplining your kids. It's like you might have a ton of big feelings if they did something wrong and like want to yell or do whatever. But it's like sometimes you just need to take a second, calm down, and then come back to them and explain the situation on maybe why they're going to timeout or why the toy is going to be taken away, right? You do it in a calm manner. And I think you have to do the same thing to your relationship. Because a lot of the times when we get in these arguments, when we get in heated fights, whatever, it's like our inner child comes out. So it's like you have to nurture that side. I went full psychology just now.
You went full psychology, which allows me to dive into the next question.
Oh, gosh.
Parenting styles.
Okay, now I will say, we're going back. if there is any kind of like disagreement, sometimes it is around like the parenting styles, because we have very different parenting styles. Very different parenting styles.
They both work. But also, I wouldn't say it's a hard part. It's a challenging part of blending a family.
It is.
It's like it's not neither person is the more correct person, because you raised your boys a certain way before I was in the picture, and I raised my daughter a certain way before you were in the picture. And so it's kind of like, okay, how do we blend those two styles together to make it work really well?
Completely agree. So I think for me,
what's your parenting style?
I wouldn't say I'm like a gentle parenter. I also wouldn't say I'm like a hardcore disciplinary type of parenter, but I'm like an in-between. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what I would call my style.
I would say you lean more towards the gentle.
Okay. His face. I wish y'all could see it. For those of you watching, you can. Yeah, so sometimes that's hard, especially with the boys.
I think it's hardest on me. I'm like, ugh.
Okay, so explain.
It's pretty obvious that mine's much more like just do what you're told the first time and there's no issues.
And I think you being military really has made that what it is.
100%. But I'm like, I just don't understand.
Sometimes I'm like, are we in boot camp or are we at home? What's happening?
Just do it the first time. I don't negotiate.
Right.
You're the parent first before you're their friend. So when you just give them multiple chances, that doesn't teach them anything. Mm-hmm. For me, I wasn't raised that way. It's like, just do that. I'd say both of our parenting style for eating is like, you're going to try everything we give you. If you don't like it.
There are some things that we're very aligned on.
But like, especially food.
Yes.
You're going to try everything. You're not getting fruit snacks for dinner. Like, you are going to eat protein first, period.
We're very much still on the same page there.
And all the kids know that. There's no question about it. And if you don't want to finish it, you're going to sit there until you do. And I will sit there with you, because I'm not going to lose this ever. I have a very vivid memory of my dad doing it to me. So that's where it comes from. Just sitting at the table.
When I was a single mom, in a sense, before you came in the picture, there was a period of time where the boys were just like walking all over me and not listening. So I do think like when you came in the picture, they started listening so much better, and that's just gotten progressively better over time, because I think you are just so like cut and dry. Like, this is how it is. I mean, he will quite literally, y'all, be like, tell them to do something. And if they don't do it, he's like, well, he'll tell them first off. He's like, I'm going to throw away. You're going to pick out your favorite toy, and it's going to be thrown in the trash if you don't do this. They don't do it.
See ya.
And then he's like, go pick out your favorite toy. Now, we haven't had that happen in a long time. Yeah. Like, the kids actually, I mean, they're such good kids. They listen so well. I think it's the times where they maybe get hurt that like the mom side of me is like, oh no, baby, it's okay. And he's like, they're fine.
Well, I usually just wait, because unless I see blood or unless I see a limb the wrong way, just let them figure it out. Because we used to play for hours and not see our parents. I'm like, they don't need to fall and get hurt and then run to you and then you hug and coddle. If there's a serious issue, that's different. But every now and then it's like, just let them ride out the injury. They'll be okay. If I don't see any lacerations or broken bones, we'll be all right.
Completely agree. So you've helped me become less soft, but I also am a mom. So it's like the nurturing side is
more patient.
Well, there we go. So we're meeting in the middle, guys.
We're trying.
We're still working on that. This question was asked so many times.
Oh boy. Yes.
Do you have a relationship with the other's ex?
I mean, I have to for correspondence. Yeah.
Now, I think they mean, do you have a relationship with my ex, vice versa?
Oh, no.
Right.
No, not at all. There's been issues that have been unresolved, and I'm very much a person of principle. And to this point, there's been no apology for things that have been said. And so for me, I won't let those types of things go. Things that have been directed towards you, the things that have been said that I just won't stand for, and things that have been said to me. I will not have a relationship with somebody that's disrespectful to me or to you, and especially you for such a long period of time. Okay, well, there will never be me being fake about it. Called him out for it, and he's never done anything about it. So until that happens, I will not have a relationship with somebody, nor respect him.
I lived in just such a period of like la la land, like everything's going to be perfect co-parenting, like we're going to be fine. And that's not been the case. And I hope that we can all get to a place where that's the case. Like on my side of things with my ex and you and the kids, the boys, I really do have hope that that will happen. I just think there, is some healing that has to be done first on, from the past. So I'm hoping we can get there. Luckily, like nothing in front of the boys, like, or the kids, like that's one thing that we will never do is like talk bad about the other ex or whatever that may be in front of the kids or at all. Like, but we also don't sugarcoat things.
Nope.
The boys asked me like, do Mr. Ian and Dad like each other? And I said no. And there was a period of time where I said, yeah, they're friends. And it's like, no, I'm lying to them.
Yeah.
But I said it in a way of like, no, they don't like each other right now, and that's okay. It's unfortunate. But, there's going to be people in life that you maybe don't like, that are different, that you're still kind to, that you still respect, but maybe you just don't get along. And that's okay. We're not meant to get along with everyone. So I think it's about the way that you teach the kids as well. So that's been a big learning curve for me, just trying to figure that out because I had hoped that I would have the relationship with all of us where we can all be at each other's kids' birthday parties and everybody get along, which we all are at the birthday parties. It's just there's obviously tension. It's not the most amazing situation. Maybe one day, but for now, it's not the case. Now for you, your ex, I've actually known since I was little. I'm like pleasant with her. I'm very neutral. I think she's a great mom, and we've exchanged kind text messages to each other and sent pictures, of Reagan.
Yeah.
And I know that y'all's relationship is not 100%, but I try to be very supportive, from both angles.
Yeah.
Being a mom, but also like being your girlfriend. It's hard. It's not easy, guys.
Sure is.
Co-parenting it's not easy. And we're just in the first few years, both of us less than 5 years of being divorced and figuring this out. And hopefully in 5 years from now, we have a completely different story that we can share. But right now there's challenges. We're figuring it out. How do you know when it's time to walk away from a relationship or a marriage? I think that when you exhaust all the efforts of making it work and when the bad days outweigh the good. The last year of my marriage, I said, okay, I'm giving it another year. We're going to do counseling. We're going to do programs. I'm going to give it like full effort. I'm going to give it time. And by this time, if I still feel the way I do, I've got to do what's best for me and for my kids. Because at that point, the bad days already outweighed the good. So for me, like I said, I gave it a year, did the counseling, did programs, did the things, daily work to really try to repair the marriage. And a year later, I was still in a spot where the bad days were so heavy. It was taking a mental toll on myself, my kids, and just the entire family dynamic. And when I signed and filed the papers, as emotional as it was like a weight lifted off of me. I think if you feel that, like, deep down that that's the right step for you. So that's kind of how I knew. What would you say?
I just really don't think I knew who I was or what I wanted to do or what I needed or what I wanted until way too late. For the people that have grown up with somebody in their teens, 20s, and stayed together, like, phenomenal. Good for you. That was not what I should have done. I didn't experience the life that I was previously living, especially in the military. It's like, this was not a good breeding ground for building a relationship with somebody that you really don't know. And they don't know themselves either, especially in early 20s. The issue that I had is, like, I just didn't communicate at all. I probably communicated with you more in 2 years than I did in a previous 15-year relationship. Just because
That's crazy.
I didn't want to. I was like, I don't need to do this. This is stupid. And I just, roommates for the most part, you kind of just doing your life, and you both kind of have separate lives, especially with what I was doing. So you live what you have to do, your lifestyle and military and travel and deploy and all that kind of stuff. And the other person just has to get by for the most part until you come home. And so you're not really creating this super tight bond at any point. It's more of just like this highlight reel. So you come home for a little bit, great, everything seems good, forget all your problems, don't deal with anything, and then go on the next training trip, go on the next deployment, go on the next, cycle, whatever it is, and then forget it all again. And so just not the best, I think. But for me, for walking away from something, if my situation had been different, it would just, when you really do become a roommate, like that question kind of resonated, because it's like it's very transactional, and that kind of sucks. It's like when you're just moping around, like nothing's really getting done with each other. You're not really experiencing life together. I mean, you and I have done so much together, really in about a year and a half of actually dating, but like in the 2 years, we've done so much together. It's like, damn, this is what it's supposed to be like, even when there's lows, but all the highs, the lows, all that kind of stuff. It's like, we really just have worked through anything that's been there. Cause like, damn, this is the person I want to be with. Yeah. The travel, just the life experiences in general. But for walking away, it's just when you're not communicating, when you're resentful all the time, when you're not happy with yourself or with your partner or both, it's like you either need to make two choices: completely revamp what you guys are doing or walk away, because it's just not worth your peace. Especially
when you have kids involved. And that was the hard thing
it's
too.
It's so hard.
Like I said earlier,
it's a terrible
like
feeling.
When the other parents, like my ex is a great dad, and that was hard because I was like, oh, he's a great dad to the kids. And it's like, he can still be a great dad to the kids, right? It's like, I've seen so many marriages stay for the kids when it's a loveless marriage.
Yeah.
And what is that doing to the kids? They're being brought up in a home where they don't see love. We try to show all the love, obviously, to our kids, to the point where they're like, stop kissing, stop touching each other. Like, I always want them to see that love and communication and examples of what a healthy relationship should be. And I think another part of that is them seeing disagreements, but them also seeing us how to resolve that conflict.
Yeah. I mean, they do. And I think the youngest, Quinn, is just has no idea. Grayson's a little bit intuitive with it, and Reagan really receptive and responsive, and she kind of sees anything that might go on, but she's the one that's always like, you guys are very in love. You guys always kiss each other. You guys always touch each other. And we're kind of like, good. I'm glad you're seeing that. That's what it should be. How it should feel.
One of the best things I've done for myself this year is lean into my nighttime routine, turning those end of the day moments into something I can actually look forward to instead of just crashing and burning out. Creating a calming, cozy wind down has been such a gift to myself, and Cozy Earth has truly been at the center of that shift. I first tried their bamboo viscose pajamas, game changer. They are buttery soft, breathable, and just feel luxurious in the best way. You know when you put something on and instantly feel like the elevated version of yourself? That's Cozy Earth. And then we got the bedding, you guys, and it was over. I'm obsessed. And I'm a hot sleeper, and Cozy Earth has been a lifesaver. These sheets keep you cool through the night, and they get softer with every wash. It's like crawling into a cloud at the end of a long day. And my mom's out there, you guys know mornings feel way better when you've actually slept well. I've tried a lot of cozy brands, but Cozy Earth is on another level. Even Ian is hooked. He used to not care what sheets we use, but now our Sunday resets only include the Cozy Earth ones. And my boys, they love cuddles when I'm in my really soft pajamas. If you've been looking for a way to upgrade your nighttime routine or just want to turn your bedroom into more of a sanctuary, you need to try Cozy Earth. They even offer a 100-night sleep trial, so you've got over 3 months to fall in love, but you'll know night one, just trust me. Plus, all bedding comes with a 10-year warranty, which just shows you how much they stand behind their quality. Luxury shouldn't feel out of reach, and now it doesn't have to. Head to CozyEarth.com and use code SAMCFIT for 40% off their best-selling sheets, pajamas, and more. Because sanctuary does await, and it's called Cozy Earth. This one was probably the second most asked question.
Yes.
I'm about to put you on the spot.
Yes.
Are you ready?
The answer is yes.
When are you proposing?
No, that's like, that's not the answer. Well, I'm not told you, I'm not going to tell you. It's not like.
What about like a time frame?
She also doesn't like surprises.
I hate surprises. They're
so she's
hard.
going to feel nauseous for a long time, because it can't not be a surprise. I'm going to be like, hey, on this day, I'm going to ask you. But she has to have her nails done, so we'll make sure that's good to go. But
it's the people that want to know.
Well, people, I'm not telling you, but it will happen.
Okay, so it is coming.
It is coming.
Is it coming?
And don't give me a time frame. Don't try this again.
2025.
I'm not giving you. I'm not telling you.
That's a yes. I could see it in your eyes.
I'm not telling you.
So we have 3 kids together.
We do.
8, 5, and 3. Do we want more?
Somebody has baby fever.
I do. I don't know why.
Because everywhere we go, somebody's having a kid.
This is true. I
she
think
picks up a kid. She just looks at me and I'm like,
everyone is pregnant. Everyone's having kids. And I'm just like, these babies. I love the baby stage. I love the infant stage. It's hard, but they're so sweet and they smell good and all the cuddling.
So do you want another kid?
I do. You know this.
I mean, I do want a boy, but Reagan said we had to have a girl.
She did. She's already named her.
My daughter's very into numbers. That's probably my fault and my dad's fault, but very into numbers. Everything has to be even. And if we have a girl, we have even boys and even girls in the house. So that's what she's banking on right now.
Yeah.
She's also named the unborn baby already.
Should we share what that is?
Yeah, because that's what I want.
What is the name?
The name is Lillian because it's Lillian. That's so if we have another daughter. Lillian.
I said we can name the dog, our next dog, that and call her Lily. In all seriousness, yes, I do want kids with you. I think it's because it's going to be the most special thing to look at what we have now, this beautiful, healthy relationship where we're growing together, we're learning together. There are great days, there are also hard days, but we're becoming stronger together. It's such an amazing life experience. And I'm like, how amazing would that be to create a little baby human with you?
I don't think it's an absolute, but I think if we have a kid together, it's like the bond. Like all the kids are now connected through this one child. With a lot of weight on that kid. That happens. It's like kids gonna have to bridge the gap of the families.
Some good genes too.
Real solid genes. Like 90-10. So we're good.
But I think we've both talked about it, and like it has to be the right stage of life. So obviously not right now, but we'll see.
We'll see.
So many good questions.
Doing some rapid fire questions.
Ooh.
Because you usually do some rapid fire questions. I'm thinking around like intimacy, sex related, just on the spot. What? You always use everybody else. I figured, why not just ask you?
I had like a hair of modesty in me at times. Okay, we're doing
you
this.
You be modest with everybody else? I think these are pretty easy. Spontaneous or planned?
Spontaneous.
Yeah.
But also it's okay for it to be planned if you're in a crazy part of life, season of life.
I think in any given day we do both.
Yes.
So
you have to.
Romantic or adventurous?
Romantic.
Okay. Kissing or cuddling?
Cuddling.
Loud or quiet?
My face right now. In between?
Depends on if the kids are...
Oh gosh, this is getting intense, guys. Y'all are knowing every side. I would say middle.
Lights on or lights off?
Ambient lighting.
Just really bring out the definition.
I like red light.
Oh yeah, tell me, we have a lamp.
Yeah, we have a lamp.
She changes the colors.
The light bulb, you can change the colors.
Trust or honesty?
Both are very important.
Communicate or assume?
Communicate.
For sure. Teamwork or independence?
I think there has to be a level of independence, but at the end of the day, you're a team. So both.
Open-minded or traditional?
Open-minded. I used to be very traditional.
I think traditional is what got us here.
Yes.
And now it's open-minded. It's like,
yes, we're very open-minded.
I'm stubborn. Affection or space?
I think affection, but like respecting the other person's space at the same time and just kind of like sensing what they need.
Friendship or romance?
I think any healthy relationship is built on a friendship, but like romance all the way. I love romance.
I think we had all the romance while building a really solid friendship.
Absolutely.
With a friendship, either way, I guess that both works. But
I completely agree.
Freedom or commitment? Dang, I'm going to say it. Commitment for sure now, but we both wanted freedom.
Yeah,
and that's what led us to commitment.
Commitment.
Sharing or privacy?
I think we're both very respectful of each other's privacy and space, but I think now that we've committed to each other, it's like we protect each other.
We share everything.
Yeah, we share it all.
Change or consistency?
Consistency, but open to change if needed.
Listening or talking?
Listening. I'm such a listener. I've learned that because I used to be in relationships where I would have disagreements or whatever and think about what I wanted to say in the talk without listening to what they were saying. So it's important to have both.
That's all I got. Really good.
That was really good. Well, hopefully this was helpful for anyone listening, just to learn more about us, but also kind of what we've learned in the past, and to also share and spread light that it's okay not to be perfect. We're not perfect. Obviously, you heard like being a blended family has its own challenges.
Yeah.
We're still learning and growing, but that's the most important part, is that we're doing it together, still working on ourselves, but working at the relationship together. Yay, I love you.
Love you too.